Hello my dear students, I am Jitendra Kant, serving as lecturer in English at Government Girls Senior Secondary School, Gosla, District Ludhiana. Today I am once again here in front of you all to deliver a lecture on writing skills. So students, this topic is really very interesting because it is creative writing. In IELTS, that is taught to you in your class by your teachers also. And we are going to discuss something very different and you will definitely like it. So have all your concentration towards this side and I am going to reveal a new world of writing in front of you all. So here it goes. So first of all students, I would like to ask you one question, that is, do you know how many types of writings are there? If you have any idea about it, you may kindly speak up. How many types of writings do we have? Alright, so answer is here. We have 5 types of writings. Although there are more types as well, but we are just discussing these 5 here today. So first is expository writing. I'll give you detail about these writing skills later on, but for the time being you just acquaint yourself with these types. So first one is expository writing, the second one is descriptive writing, the third one is persuasive writing, fourth one is narrative writing, and fifth one is creative writing. Creative writing is important because we are going to discuss about creative writing in today's lecture. Alright, so now I am going to explain these writing skills one by one. First is expository writing. So students, as the name suggests, it is supposed to expose something like facts or information. So what you find interesting here is explanation of facts or information. So facts is really very important, this word. So when we talk about facts, when we inform somebody about those facts or events that are based on facts or any incident, right? Different types of writings are there that basically deal with exposition of the facts. So when facts are mentioned, information is given in any type of writing, that type of writing we call as expository writing. So such writings contain logical explanation of an event, an incident, it can be any business writing, it can be a training material as well. So the aim of this type of writing is to explain and inform the reader. So reader is given new information based on what? Facts, right? So this is expository writing. So next in the line we have descriptive writing. So description, as the name itself suggests, that it is a description of something. Descriptive writing. The main aim of this type of writing is to let the writer give his or her opinion about the events, places, characters, anything, etc. So this is descriptive, when the writer describes something, that is his or her own opinion. So right, so when we explain any events, places, any characters, what we feel like that person or that event or that place is all about, it is our opinion, we describe that in our own way, that is descriptive writing. So this type of writing gives artistic freedom to the writer. So this line clearly mentions here that the writer gets a kind of freedom of writing. Freedom of writing means whatever you feel like. There is no set parameter. Whatever you see, you write that. But it is your opinion about that person, right? So this is descriptive writing. It's a description of anything that you see, in simple terms we can say. So this is called as descriptive writing. I hope this is clear to you all. Alright, next in the line we have persuasive writing. So persuasive. Students, what do you mean by persuasive? Is it to persuade somebody? How do you persuade somebody? It's a kind of argument, or when you tell your point of view, you try to prove your point of view, right? The reader must agree upon your point of view. That is to persuade. So persuasive writing is a type of writing which influences the reader to assume writer's point of view. You may note down this line, that persuasive writing is a type of writing where you as a writer, you influence the reader with your own opinion, that yes, this opinion is right, this is correct, right? You may make them agree upon what you say is right. So that is persuasive. This type of writing can be argumentative in nature. So a sort of argument that yes, sometimes you have to assert your point of view on the basis of your own situations, possibilities, experiences, right? So you have to persuade. So this is persuasive writing. In order to prove the point, writer presents evidences. So you can persuade somebody if you have the evidence of that thing. So you have to collect those evidences and put forth the reader to make the reader agree with him or her. So you have to make the reader agree with you when you are writing something, right? So you have to prove your point of view as well. So for example, there are certain essays, there are editorials. If you read the newspaper, you see editorials there. So they are very persuasive by nature. Speeches, debates, etc. Right? So this is persuasive writing. Next we have narrative writing. So narrative, again, when you write short stories, when you write novels, novellas which are short, right, whereby a real or fictional story is narrated, where a story is narrated, when the story is narrated by the writer. So that is a narrative writing. So there is one distinguishing factor. That distinguishing factor is that this type of writing contains monologues. Monologue is a type of dialogue. So this type of writing may contain dialogues as well, right? It is a little complex form of writing because you have to create characters, you have to concentrate on the plot, on the setting, on the conflict. There are unities of time, place and action, everything. First of all, you should be acquainted with all these terms, and then once you are familiar with them, then it will be easy for you to write these type of writings, right? So narrative writing, and it compels the readers to read with interest because you frame a story in such a way that it becomes very interesting for the reader, right? So this is a narrative type of writing. So next here we have creative writing. So this is the topic that we shall furnish today in this lecture. So students, first of all, I want to ask you, what is creativity? Come on, I shall give you some time to recollect your thoughts on what actually is creativity. How can you be creative? What is that thing that is called as creativity? Can anyone explain that? Okay, you might be knowing that well, but from my side, I shall try to explain what actually the creativity is. Now look at this picture. So what do you see in this picture? There is a tap, the tap is on, water is coming, and there is a bucket is full of water and the water is overflowing, isn't it? The bucket is unable to control the water now, hence the water overflows. So this is creativity. Now you must be surprised that how is this creative? What is so much creativity in this? Now students, when you link up this process with your own selves, you just consider your mind as the bucket. Just listen attentively. You just assume your mind as a bucket, and when your mind is full of thoughts and ideas, when you fill your mind up to the brim with lots of ideas, with lots of thoughts, with lots of exposure to different things, different study material, different topics, then what will happen? Your mind will be full of ideas and it will be it will be not able for you to carry those ideas in your mind, isn't it? When you fail to keep those ideas in the mind, the ideas start to overflow. And when you are unable to keep those ideas under control, you take a piece of paper and a pen and you start writing something, or you may be drawing something, and that is called as creativity. The thing that you are unable to keep in your mind, right? So that is called as creativity. That keeps you disturbing. That is creativity. That no, I cannot further hold this thing in my mind. I have to bring it forth. I have to bring it in front of everyone. That is creativity. So right, so ideas, what you need to do is right now is to have lots and lots of ideas in your mind. And then when the mind is full of ideas, then you will become very creative. No matter what topic you come across, no matter what is given to you for writing, then you will become very creative. Why creative? Because plenty of ideas will be there in the mind, right? So this is called as creativity. I hope now you understand well, students, what actually is creativity. So now let's see further what this creative writing means. This type of writing gives freedom to the writer to choose his or her imagination, style of writing, language, incidents, etc. So again, when you are free to write anything on the basis of your imagination, the writing style is your own, your language is your, diction is your own diction. You can choose any words you wish. Incidents, you can relate to any incident. So that is kind of your creativity about something that you are writing, right? It gives you the liberty to find new ways to tell a story that can delight the readers. So you have again the liberty to write in any way you want, right? So that may delight the readers as well, because when you are creative, then you have the ability to relate to various things. In simple terms, it can be writing in your own words, that is self-expressive or freestyle. So your writing is freestyle of writing, right? It is not bound by any rules. Though there are certain rules of writing, you have to remain within those rules. The boundaries, you have not to cross those boundaries, but still it's a free style of writing. I'll tell you those boundaries later on, what those boundaries are, but you are free to write anything. Now students, before discussing about creative writing and explanation in the form of paragraph, I shall discuss this very important thing with you. You might be familiar with it as well. This is process wheel. What is this called as? Process wheel of writing, or in other way you can call it as the 3 stages of writing. So first stage is planning. It is self-explanatory. What is planning? Then drafting, then comes editing. Now students, planning means pre-writing stage, that before writing starts, what you actually have to do. Then comes writing, while writing, that is drafting. While writing means when you are actually writing now, that is called as drafting stage. And then third one is editing, that is post writing. Post writing editing means when the final version of your writing is ready, when you are done with your write up, that is final version. And editing is that you are given some time to edit your work as well, and further the teacher also helps you in correcting, in finding out the mistakes and correcting them, right? So these are the 3 stages of writing that every one of you must know. So planning is really very important. Everything depends upon planning. What type of planning do you have in your mind about what you are going to explain? So this is planning. All right. So planning stage. Planning stage is very important, as we have already discussed. In this stage, a roadmap for writing is prepared. So there is a roadmap that is laid in our mind before the start of writing. So this is again a very important part of planning stage. The next one is, this stage is meant for collecting ideas on any given topic. Collection of ideas. Again, mark these words. Collecting the ideas. So ideas are really very important. Everything, all the writing part depends on the ideas. What type of ideas do you have? So that is also very important in this planning stage. Second is, ideas are the backbone of any write-up. Again, the same thing. Then ideas can be collected by the technique of mind map. So mind map, again we are discussing about mind map a little. You also must be acquainted with this term mind map by now, because already we have discussed it many times. So mind map is very important. So now another important aspects of writing I am going to share with you. When the writing begins, before that you need to check up some of your grammatical things. Means you should be accurate in your grammar. You should know that what prepositions are to be used. You should know what tense is to be picked for writing. Once you start with present tense, you have to retain that tense till end. Once you start with the past tense, you have to remain within past tense only, right? So you have to be very accurate. Prepare your mind accordingly, that in which tense you are going to write. Then vocabulary, that is the choice of words, they matter the most. Vocabulary related to anything that you are writing. There is a separate type of vocabulary for everything, right? So vocabulary is very important. And now, how to develop a vocab bank. Read lots of newspaper, lots of magazines, expose yourself to more and more reading stuff. That will add up vocabulary to your vocab bank. Make short sentences. Another important thing. Sometimes what students generally do, they try to write long sentences, and there they tend to commit mistakes. So students, make sure that you write very short sentences. That will give you accuracy, that will make the things easier for you, and you will be able to express your feelings very crisply, very clearly. So make short sentences. Then think about the incidents, events, characters, places, etc. in advance about which you plan to write. Everything you have to pre-plan. Keep your calm and do not stress your mind. Don't get anxious when you come across any topic. Just take a long breath and think about all these things. It will be easy for you then, right? Alright, now little bit about mind map once again. Mind map is a term used for pictorial representation of ideas. A picture of ideas, right? How a picture of idea works now? Whatever is seen tends to last long in our memory. As we know, when we see something, that remains in our memory for a long time. So therefore, picture view of ideas can last long in our mind, right? This is by nature. Naturally, whatever we see, it remains in our mind for a long time. So we have to make the picture of ideas. Why to make picture of ideas? So that they remain in our mind for a long time, right? So this is mind map. Generally we make mind map like this. These are the bubbles. Each bubble represent each student. So if you have any other idea, then you can have your own mind map. This is just a representational picture. You people are very creative, I know, students. So you can draw these bubbles in any way. You can draw the mind map in any way you want, right? It can be very creative also. Now how does this technique work? So as simple, organize the class in groups of 5 each or more depending upon the class strength. If your class is confined up to 50 students, then make 10 groups of 5 students each. If the class strength is more, then accordingly you can improvise, okay? Then select one student among each group as group leader. As always, you have one group leader among yourself, and the leader has to see whether all others are participating or not. There is a role for group leader. That role is to just keep a check on everyone, that everyone should participate, and the leader has to respect the ideas of others. You have to respect the ideas. Whatever ideas come from your peers, you should respect that idea. Even if that idea is not relevant to the topic, then too just accept that idea and then deliberate on that. Discuss in the group that this does not fit in to this part of writing. Okay, so you can keep that idea for another time. So this is how, right, you can manage. So group leaders will draw the mind map in their notebook and circulate it among every group member so that everyone gets a chance to give ideas related to given topic. Again, the thing is very clear that there should be no clutter among the groups. Only one notebook in one group. If there are 10 groups in the class, then there should be only 10 notebooks. They should be circulating among each and every member, and then everyone has to give his or her idea about the given topic. Then students can give more than one idea. Even when students, they are given the opportunity to write ideas, then they can have more than one idea. So they have the liberty to write as many ideas as they want. Then make sure all ideas are written within the bubbles only. Again, everything that students are going to write should be in bubbles or in the boxes, right? Then group leaders will note down all the points separately once the ideas are collected. Now you will be having more than 10 ideas. If there are 10 students in a group, if there are 5 students in a group, you will be having double the ideas, definitely, because once you are in tune to writing something, then along with one there is another idea, then again there is another idea. They are linked up. Ideas are linked up together. So we can have plenty of ideas in the class by this, and then group leader has to see that all the ideas should be written separately. And then what happens? The ideas overflow in the classroom. Everyone is having idea. So what is required? In the planning stage we discussed what is required before writing ideas, and now our class is full of ideas, overflow of ideas, right? This will help build confidence of the class and foster participation as a teamwork. So what you learn out of it? How to work in a team. It will give you more confidence, and now when next topics you come across, you'll be all ready, right? So ideas, you know how to collect those ideas, and there will be plenty of ideas. So I mean, this is going to be really very helpful for you students. Now there are some topics for creative writing. You may kindly note down these topics. I will read for you. How to plan out an adventure. First topic is how to plan out an adventure. The second topic is, do women have equal rights with men? Next is, what is your favorite thing to write? Next, imagine that you are stuck inside a TV. What shows would you like to visit? This is interesting. Next is, what does it mean to be an optimist? Then write about your favorite food. Then write about your favorite actor or actress. Then your favorite thing to do on vacation. What are the issues that our country needs to work upon? Then where do you get your best ideas? So students, these are some of the topics of creative writing. It doesn't mean that ideas end here, the topics end here. There are plenty of topics. You can choose any topic, you can make any topic by yourself, and you can consult a book for creative writing topics. Your teacher can also help you in writing for these topics, and I mean, this is all about exposure. If you have exposure to all the different streams of life, then it will be very easy for you to pick any one of the topics and write immediately, right? But how will you be writing? You will be writing by sitting yourself in the group and then discussing with the help of mind map, getting the ideas out of each and every mind, and then write when you have lot of ideas. So now let's move to the second stage. Till now we've been discussing first stage, that was pre-writing stage. Now we have moved to the second stage, that is drafting stage. When the ideas are collected now, then the ideas are to be arranged in sequence. So there has to be some sequence of writing. It should not be like anything that you have collected should be written the way it is collected. No, because that is scattered. You have to now organize everything, arrange everything in an order. So this is the order of writing. So first of all, you have to pick up those ideas that fulfill section 1, that is defining the topic, introduction. Now what should come in the introduction? Those ideas that define that introductory part should be written first. So paragraph explaining the key meaning of the topic. So first of all, whenever you come across any topic, you have to define the meaning of that topic in 2-3 lines, right? So defining the topic, that is introducing the topic, is the first thing that will you do. Then second paragraph, that is developing the content. This is also called as exposition. Exposition is development of the body of any write-up. So here you give explanation of how to develop that content, explanations and examples that you can relate to. So this comes in the second paragraph, and the third paragraph is wrap up. Wrap up is now you have to sum up the topic, you have to conclude that topic. So these are the, this is the second stage, that is the drafting stage. And keeping this thing in the mind, I am going to show you how to write. So the topic that we have selected for today is how to plan out an adventure. So this is our topic for today. I'll read it for you. You may listen attentively. You will come to know that we have tried to put our ideas in the sequence, in the order that we just discussed in the previous slide. So here it goes. People often go on an adventure to test their courage and patience. It is a satisfying experience for them. I too love to do adventure in my life. Since childhood, I have a knack for going on an adventure. I always yearned to ride a bike on the hardest of roads in the mountains. My friends usually go on such adventure every year, and I am planning to accompany them soon. Recently, I and my friends chalked out a plan to visit Spiti Valley in Himachal Pradesh. The plan is not as simple as it sounds. There is a twist in it. We would not travel by any personal vehicle or public transport. Rather, we plan to tour as hitchhikers. Hitchhikers usually do not spend a single penny on traveling and food. They generally take free lifts to reach to their destination and arrange for free food and stay by convincing people to help them. This seems a little tough to travel in such a manner, but adventure lies in such impossible things when turned possible with our grit, courage and determination. So students, see, we have divided this into 3 parts. The first part is introductory. Introduction about adventure is given, that actually what adventure is all about. And the second paragraph, it gives an example or explanation of our plan. we have added one twist into it. That twist is also very adventurous, very interesting. You come across a new term, hitchhike. That is also very interesting. You may read more about it later on, and then we have concluded. So in conclusion, we have given a possibility, right? So now students, let's see whether you have listened to this attentively or not. There are certain questions that would follow this slide, so you have to answer them. So it's a kind of brainstorming, because brainstorming is really very important. You have to press hard your mind to see whether it's still working or not. Working or not in the sense whether it has retained the ideas or not, whether you were there at the time while we were discussing that or not. So this is brainstorming. So answer these questions and see. What for people often go on an adventure? Try to answer this question. I will show you the answers in the next slide. I request the teachers may kindly see whether the students are able to answer or not. Second is, where did I always yearn to ride a bike? I give you some time to think, and you may tell the answer if you know. Think about what we discussed. This is very simple. Next question, where did we plan to visit? Come on, tell me now. Where did we plan to visit? Then we have, what was the twist in our plan? So we discussed about a twist. What was that twist? Come on, I know you know the answer. Just brainstorm your mind. Come on, we read that. I laid stress on this part as well. Next question is, how do hitchhikers plan their tours? This is interesting. This is new, I think, for you all. Many of you might be knowing already, but still this is a new thing. So come on now, tell me, how do hitchhikers plan their tours? I am going to show you the answers now. Alright, what will come here for the first question? What for people often go on an adventure? Answer is, people often go on an adventure to test their courage and patience. In the very first line it was written. I can show you that as well. People often go on an adventure to test their courage and patience. In the very first line it was mentioned. Now still you have a chance to relate to the answers. The question that I asked you, you might be having those questions in your mind. You may have a look at the screen now to find out the answers in case you can. Alright, so next question, where did I always yearn to ride a bike? Answer is, I always yearned to ride a bike on the hardest of roads in the mountains. Right? Then where did we plan to visit? Come on, tell me now. Where did we plan to visit? Yes, you got it right. I and my friends chalked out a plan to visit Spiti Valley in Himachal Pradesh. Right? Next is, what was the twist in our plan? Answer is, the twist was that we would not travel by any personal vehicle or public transport. This was the twist. Like, if we want to hire any personal vehicle or public transport, then how will we travel? So answer to that is, how do hitchhikers plan their tours? Come on now, it's very easy to answer. Hitchhikers usually do not spend a single penny on traveling and food. They generally take lifts, free lifts to reach to their destination and arrange for free food and stay by convincing people to help them. Right? So this is the end of this section. Now the last section, that is post writing. Post writing is very simple, students. As you see, the picture reflects itself. that when your teacher finds out your mistakes and correct them, and you also, before submitting to the teacher your write-up, you take a final reading and find out the mistakes, right? So this is post writing. And now last thing, students, last but not the least, it's home assignment. These are the 2 questions in front of you. Imagine that you were stuck inside a TV. What shows would you like to visit, or what are the issues that our country needs to work upon? These are the 2 questions. One you have to choose right now and write when you go back home, and tomorrow you will submit the write-up to your teacher for checking. And I think today you learnt a lot. There were something new things that we discussed today and you learned them. With this, students, I shall call off this lecture. Thank you very much and keep doing the good work. Thank you.